Francesca and welcome to my kitchen. Those of you who know me know that I'm always singing and cooking and doing a lot of stuff. Anyway, and today of course behind the camera we have Sir Colin, because everybody asks me where is Sir Colin. Sir Colin is behind the camera and we are in lockdown, so my hair is getting ever longer. Look at this. Still in lockdown after almost 1 year. So we are going to cook and we are going to have a lot of fun. That's the most important. Eating. The waistline is getting ever bigger. Never mind. Better being a little bit fatter and eating delicious food. Today we are going to make a Tesco recipe that I made a while ago and I found it absolutely marvelous, but it needed a few changes which I'll talk to you about. This is butternut, sage and cheddar cornbread squares. It's a mouthful, but it's a very simple recipe. Butternut, sage and cheddar cornbread squares. There you go, that is the cornbread, which will be accompanied by sweet tomato and bird's eye chili chutney. I hope Tesco is watching and will say we need her for our adverts, because Colin and I have auditioned to make an advert for Tesco and they never chose us. Never mind.
It's their loss, my love.
It is their loss, of course. And we are going to start by cutting our butternut squash, which I could have actually done yesterday but didn't. But first thing I'm going to do, because I don't want stains all over my clothes, is put an apron on. I am sorry if wearing an apron is not fashionable, but Sir Colin, throw me the rugby ball.
Well, the apron actually. You'd be surprised if I did throw you the rugby ball.
Colin is Welsh, so do as if it's a rugby ball.
Hence the expert pass of the apron.
Maybe this is not fashionable, but I'd rather be sipping champagne. That is fashionable. So, and I don't want stains all over my clothes.
That's always fashionable.
Stains? No. So I should have done this yesterday. This is so very simple. We are just going to cut the butternut squash, mix with the bacon bits, which is my idea, some cocktail tomatoes, that's my idea as well, because I missed that, a bit of thyme, and they are going in the oven, so I'm going to turn the oven on quickly to probably 180 degrees centigrade. Oh, they say 200. Okay, never mind. 200. I'm never very good remembering the recipes. So, I won't bore you with all the cutting. I'll just cut a bit of the squash. If you have pumpkin, that's okay as well. It doesn't matter. Pumpkin, squash is all same family. If you can buy the squash already cut, do, because it's a good exercise, but it's a bit boring. Then you cut the squash in bits. A small squash is enough. If you can only buy a big one, just keep it for your soup or make a stew. By the way, English is my third language and I'm not too good at talking and cooking, So sometimes I just say the wrong words because I'm thinking about one thing, doing another.
Well, you seem very expert to me, my love.
Thank you.
At both the cooking and the English.
Yeah. I still find it difficult to act cook, although I always say that I would love to have my own TV show. Not sure how good I would be.
Fantastic.
I'm not the second Nigella. I'm afraid I could become one. A bit of sensual cooking, that's what we
sounds
need.
good to me. You could make Nigella very envious.
She's probably laughing at home right now. The downside is that she's not looking at me, so she has no idea about what I am saying. Colin always tells me to be my cheeky self, but I can't be cheeky and cook and talk and pay attention at what I am doing.
Well, I always think it comes very naturally.
So, here we have these wonderful, wonderful colors. Look, the orange, the bacon. If you are a vegan or vegetarian, of course, you don't have the bacon, which it does not appear in the original recipe, but it really looks beautiful. Now, 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. You toss everything. I'm also going to add here a little bit of salt, not much, because of the bacon. Then halfway the 40 minutes I'll toss again, so that all the ingredients, the vegetables, the bacon, everything is covered in oil. I'll add a little bit of salt. Just a tiny little bit, just to make the vegetables nice and tasty. Now everything goes in the oven for 40 minutes at 200 degrees centigrade. You can find out in Fahrenheit. I have no idea about Fahrenheit.
Quite a lot. Over 400. I think.
Sounds hot. Sounds very hot if it wasn't exactly the same thing. So, there it goes. We'll be back in 40 minutes. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's good that I have a very patient director and crew and producer and all in one, which is actually cheaper.
Yes, that would be me.
Yes. And if you marry the film director, the producer, the crew, you name it, it's even cheaper.
So here's a top tip to aspiring YouTube cooks. Always sleep with the director and producer.
Yes, because then he works for free.
Oh.
See you later. Bye. What a smell here in the kitchen. What another Our pumpkin, tomatoes and bacon bits are ready. It smells absolutely beautifully. And now it's very, very simple. I'm going to use scales to measure all the ingredients because I don't like measuring in cups. Scales are so cheap nowadays and it's so much more accurate. You don't need to think about full cups and pressed cups and God knows. So 450 grams of polenta or corn flour. Very difficult to get in the UK. Did I say 450? No, it's 425. I'll write down the ingredients anyway. 425 grams of polenta or corn flour. You can show if you wish. So from, yeah, still a bit more. 425. Still a bit to go. $4.25, so it's very, very cheap to buy some scales, and you have very thin ones like a book which you can put anywhere. $4.25 of polenta or corn flour, baking powder, eggs, yogurt, 250 milligrams of yogurt. I use Greek yogurt because I think it's a lot tastier than the normal yogurt. So 250 of yogurt, 200 of milk, 250. You can see that I'm not a seasoned presenter.
But you are an expert presenter.
No, I'm not.
And very entertaining with it.
250, so there we go. 242, 50, 200 mils of milk. So you have the 250, you just touch here, you go to 0. And you add the milk. It's just so much easier than with cups. So 200 of milk, 200 mils, of course, of milk. So the eggs, 2 eggs beaten. Actually, I should have mixed all the dry ingredients first. Never mind, I'm a bit chaotic. Because I don't have baking soda, I'll add a bit of half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Yeah, so you need one teaspoon of baking powder. I don't have, so I add a bit of bicarbonate of soda and cream of tartar, and then another half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Yes. There you go. You're not supposed to mix too much. Then the grated cheese, 250 grams of mature cheddar grated, but you can use any cheese that takes your fancy. There is red Leicester.
Leicester, actually.
Leicester. Well, they write one thing and they pronounce another one, and
Correct.
I am against that. You
Yes.
say what you write.
That's frequent in English.
Leicester,
Yes.
Leicester.
Bicester.
No. If you write it, you read it. If you want to read something else, you write something else.
But you would be right about Cirencester. It's not Cernster.
Yeah,
It's
see?
Cirencester.
Yeah, because why? Why? Because you write Cirencester. And if you write Cirencester, it's because you want to say Cirencester. Normally speaking, you could add a little spoonful of salt, but because of the cheese and the bacon, I am not going to do it. And you could also add a little bit more of olive oil, but instead I'm going to add a bit of the liquid of the vegetables and the bacon. By the way, always add all the dry ingredients first, because then you can mix them better. But because I'm chatting away, I am kind of losing track of what I'm doing. And you can measure the herbs, or you can just, mix as many, or as little as you like. And you could also have mixed them with the vegetables before they went to the oven. I like a lot of herbs and it looks pretty as well, so I'm going to add a bit more. This is actually thyme, it's not even sage, but you can add the herbs you very much wish, of course. Now, check the recipe, because I always forget half of the ingredients. The oven is on now at 170 degrees centigrade, so a little bit less than when we bake the vegetables. Combine cornmeal, baking powder, bicarbonate of soda, salt we are not adding. Add the eggs, yogurt, milk and grated cheese we have done. Olive oil we are not going to do. And now two-thirds of the vegetable mixture. Need a big spoon for that. So 2/3 of these, you can add a little bit of the liquid, because it is, instead of adding the extra olive oil, you add more or less 2/3, because then the rest you'll add on the top to decorate your cornbread. There you go. And by the way, this is all a bit freestyle, because you can add as much pumpkin or squash as you like. They do give precise measures, but we bought a small one and I find that's just good. So, there you go. This more or less it. A little bit more of the juices. This is not like baking a cake. This is a lot more forgiving. So, let's take this all away. I need my producer to start being my maid as well. Mm-hmm. Yes! Then you can come and tidy everything up. So, now it all goes. It is as easy as this. You don't. There is nothing, even if you never bake the bread in your life, you can still bake the best cornbread in the world. because I'm not a TV chef, I don't like to throw food away. They always leave half in the bowl, but I don't like that. Now it is not very easy to make sure that it is all level, because last time I was not very careful and I had bits that were a lot thicker than others. That was not very good. So try, but you can't see, that's the problem. And it is too thick to then level in the oven. So I think probably if one would put a knife through, you see more or less where the bits that are thicker than others. By the way, our island is a table, so it's a little bit low. I lined and oiled the baking tray, and it is a baking tray more or less 34 by 20, but if you have another measurement it would work. Unless it's half the size, then you get a very, very thick bread that wouldn't be as nice. So now the rest we are going to scatter on the top. We don't need to scatter everything if it seems to be too much. We eat the leftover for dinner, but I think it's going to be just enough. It smells so good. There is a big storm outside, it is raining, and of course this being England is very cold, but in here it is cozy. I am here in the company of my lovely husband, producer, film director.
Oh yes.
Yes. So we forgot to have the music playing today.
Yes.
That was a bit of a pity, but never mind, we'll add music afterwards. Luckily, we have a lot of very talented friends who allow us to use their music, which is amazing. So, press a little bit down so that it doesn't all fall out when you turn it out of the tin or when you cut it. I don't usually use my hands with cooking. I don't like it. Not with gardening either. Don't like my hands in the, in all the mess. Then you scatter a little bit of thyme on the top to make it all pretty. Did I need to scatter a bit of cheese on the top? Wait. I'm not very good at reading the recipes. Yeah, I needed a bit more cheese. Going to the freezer. As you see, we buy a big block of cheese, we grate it. It is a lot cheaper than to buy grated cheese, and then we keep it in the freezer. It's always ready to go, and we save so much money. So I'm going to scatter a bit more of thyme on the top so that you see it. Don't scatter too much, because otherwise you don't see the vegetables and the bacon. A little bit more of thyme on the top to make it pretty. So, and now Our cornbread goes into the oven. There you go. Is this gorgeous? Or is this gorgeous?
Yes, you are, my love.
Thank you.
And the bread.
Thank you. Oh, when did a 63-year-old lady ever expect to receive so many compliments?
In the case of this one, every day.
Yes, that's true. There you go. 170 centigrade, and you work out the Fahrenheit.
Lots.
For 35 minutes until reason. You have a look if it looks reason and roasted brownish, then it is ready. If it's very pale, you need it. If it's very pale, you leave it there a little bit longer. I was not born to be in front of the camera. That's
Oh,
the
yes,
problem.
you were. That's why you're so gorgeous.
Thank you.
Even if you are wearing a clock on your head at the moment.
No, that's not good with a clock on my head. All because two people fell in love. And the clock is gorgeous as well. French clock. I am partially French, so the
And
clock.
so am I.
You are not, you are Welsh.
I am partially colloquial de français.
He's not. Never believe
Oui,
this
oui.
guy. No. Moi,
Oui.
Francisca Rigaud, moi je suis d'origine française.
Oui, oui.
Toi,
Et
tu
moi?
n'es pas. Non,
Et moi? Colin, Sharman.
pas du tout. And now the lady's back and the maid is gone.
Ooh.
See you later, 35 minutes. The kitchen is smelling amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Look here, if you could smell this.
That's what we need. Smell-o-vision.
Yes.
Yes,
It's beautiful.
fantastic. It is. It's wonderful.
Cornbread with sage and cheddar. And for those who don't know what cheddar is a British cheese.
And a
But
place
you-
in England.
Yes. It's like Gruyère is a place in France, and so on and so on. So, are we going to try?
Yes. We are starving. We've been working so hard.
You can eat it with the Tesco's finest sweet tomato and birdside chili chutney. I'm not very good, I fall over my words. Sweet tomato and birdside chili chutney. It's not easy.
Sounds
Or a
dangerous.
sweet chili sauce or nothing at all. Or
I think I'm going to try nothing at all because the bread looks delicious.
I'm going to try with the chili sauce. So, choose one. Yes. Big chunk. I'm going for one very toasted. The proof is in the pudding. There
For
you
the
go.
bread.
For the bread. I find it difficult to pronounce all these very complicated English words and I fall over my syllables.
So here we go.
Prost.
It's fantastic. Fantastic. Very tasty. Very delicious.
Are you sure you are not lying for the
Melts
camera?
in the mouth. There's no need to lie for the camera. It really is fantastic. My love, you are a culinary genius.
Thank you.
Thoroughly recommended. Make one today
Or tomorrow.
or tomorrow.
After tomorrow. or the day after tomorrow or next year. But anyway, do try. If you don't want bacon, don't add bacon. If you don't want
I reckon
cherry tomatoes, don't add cherry tomatoes, because the true recipe only has the pumpkin butternut squash. The other time that I made it, what I did was I fried a bit of bacon and ate with it on the side. And actually it was also very good, so you don't need to add it. But
Cheers.
to your health and ours. Bye. See you next time.